Hi guys, welcome back to the channel and part 2 of our CB550 resurrection. Now, since you were here last, all I've done is fit a battery and I've taken the points cover off. The old battery was just beyond redemption, it wouldn't come back at all. And since fitting it, I've discovered something else about this bike, which I'll show you in a minute. But first of all, we're going to try and get it going. So I'll put some fresh petrol in and a battery, and that's where we're up to. So we're going to check everything else out and fingers crossed we'll get it to fire. The people I bought it off said it would fire, but it needed going through. So I suspect they probably use some sort of easy start just to check that the bikes will actually fire up. But I don't know, I suspect. So let's have a look at it. The first thing, I suppose, is to make sure there's any oil in it. Well, there's oil. And it's clean. And it doesn't smell too bad either. Let's just dip it. Barely touching a dipstick. Right, well I don't want to start it like that, so let me just go and see if I can find some oil to stick in it. Right, I've found a bit of 1030s which will do, because it's only for test purposes. If everything's okay, obviously the next job will be to give the thing a complete service. It's probably a bit light for where I live. I think 1040s is probably a more likely grade, but we shall see. Yeah, it's about halfway up, I suppose. Just put a little bit more in. Right, we'll leave that to settle a minute and we'll recheck it. Right, that's very nearly at maximum, so that'll do for test purposes. Right, now then. Right, the points are very clean, very, very clean. And the faces are also in good nick. There's no sign of any pitting on them or anything. I haven't gapped them because I don't have the right spark plug socket. I need an 18mm thin wall because it's difficult getting into them. We'll check for a spark in a minute, but I'm going to have to use another plug. It's obviously timed in pairs, so that subsection there does it, presumably 2 and 3, 1 and 4, I don't know, I haven't got a manual yet, so I'm assuming that's the case. But we'll give them a spin in a minute and just check they are opening and shutting, but looking at them, I'm pretty certain it will be. There's no point gapping them yet until I find out what's going on. So, before we check for a spark, we're going to turn it on and try and find out if the oil is circulating. We've got an oil light. The headlight comes on with the ignition on this one. And also I'll show you the other thing I found. Now I've got a new battery when we go around the front. You've also got to pull in the clutch. Let's see if the oil light goes out. Yeah, quickly as well. Good, so we've got oil pressure. So now we need to check for a spark. I don't know if you'll be able to see this, to be honest. I'm pretty certain you won't. But I can, and at the moment that's what's important. Right, clutch in. Oh! Oh! Oh my word. It tried, didn't it? Right, let me just plug that back in. And we'll get the choke on and see if it'll go. My word. Right, I don't know whether it's the new battery or whether it's fresh fuel. But I was trying on the kickstart with the old battery connected to a battery charger and I got nothing out of this bike at all. So I'm assuming the combination of the two has given us that burst to life. So we might as well just go for it, because we know we've got oil, we know we've got oil pressure. It's obviously sparking. So fuel on. Where's the choke? Choke on. Kill switch off. It's stone cold, by the way, in case anyone thinks I'm messing about. It's stone cold. Excellent. That didn't sound bad either. It sounded nice and sweet. Just check nothing's dripping. Aha, yes, we've got something dripping. Petrol. Let's get that turned off. Pronto. So where's that coming from? So number one has been overflowing. So let's give that a tap, because it might just be lightly sticking from having sat. Try that again. Oh, a bit cold. Right, so we have an overflowing carb. Now, is it possible to get that bowl off on its own? Right, at least we don't run, so I'm happy. That's a result. And it sounded sweet. No nasty knocks or rattles there. So we've got an overflowing carb. And then the other thing it's going to show you, since I fitted the new battery, I discovered, you can see it from there, that the indicators, it's hard to show you because they're illuminated. So there must be double filament bulbs, which of course, A, we never had in the UK, and B, isn't legal in the UK. So I'm going to have to find the wiring that supplies the running lights and cut that. Hopefully that won't be too much of a big job. So the next thing then is I need to find out how to get that bowl off, and if it's possible to do so with the carb in the bike, because it sounded sweet enough that I don't want to take all the carbs apart. Right, I shall go and have a think. Give it another couple of taps and it seems to have sorted itself out. Right, now we've got it running. The last thing to check really is whether it's charging, because these Hondas do have issues with charging. So let's have a look at that, shall we? Right, that's not good news. It is charging, but nowhere near enough. Now then, let me just move the bike round and we'll have a look. Right, so behind the left-hand cover, I've got a rectifier, which all seems there. Fuse box, and then behind the fuse box is our voltage regulator. So I think we'll start off by getting the fuse box out of the way and seeing what we can see. So we'll get those bolts off. Right, you can see it a bit better. So how is it attached? Bolt there, and do one at the bottom. So I wonder if we get better access by undoing that. Yes we can. Oh, is that hot? No. Yes we can. Well, that was easy, wasn't it? Let's undo our regulator and see how it's actually connected electrically. Okay, so we've got 3 wires. You're not about to see this. We've green on top, white in the middle, black underneath. So we'll disconnect them. Right. And that looks like it'll come apart, so let's get on the bench and have a look. Got 2 little screws for the cover, JIS obviously. And it all looks very clean. I'll just clean up the contacts on that. As I said, I don't have a workshop manual at present. There might be something in the manual about setting it up, but I'll just give the contacts a white clean. Just in case they're a bit gummed up, because there will be a way of setting where it cuts in and out, which has not been touched since I left the factory because it's got a paint mark on it. But there's no sign of burning on the windings. So there's no reason why it shouldn't work really. And contacts are the most common problem with these. Well, with this type of voltage regulator. I've got to take this to the light, I can't see what I'm doing. I'll be back in 1 second. Right, there's not a lot else I can do. But that all looks good, there's no reason why that shouldn't work. There's no sign of any damage at all. I'll just give them a quick blast of carb cleaner before we put it back. I'm just going to stick it back in the bike. Right, that's it all back in place. I cleaned up the spade connectors on it as well. So we shall give it another go. Right, the main engine to battery earth is good. Clean, solidly mounted. I've just taken off the regulator rectifier multi-plug, which is a bit cruddy, so I've given it a good clean. Cleaned out the female socket as well. There's a bit of carb cleaner in it at a minute, let that flash off. However, without a wiring diagram, but given that's got 3 yellow wires and 2 green, that's probably connected to the charging circuit somewhere. But I may be wrong, but we'll have a look. Right, I've split the other 2 multi-connectors, and they're also cruddy. You see the corrosion there and in those two. So I'm going to clean them up and then we'll try again.